coming back in the reunion season. I am Chuck Jones. That is Chi-Town's finest, Randy Dixon. Special guest star, Mark Scott. We are going to give it to you straight about professional wrestling and everything involved in the business that happened this week and possible things that are going to happen in the future. First thing we'd like to talk about is a TNA note. A special TNA note, exactly. The news is Bound for Glory is actually going to be at the historic Tokyo Dome in Japan.
It's going to be at the Tokyo Dome in Japan, and it will be televised local time in Japan. That's meaning that's for local time in Japan. It's the time it's going to be 8 p.m. East. Well, we got to start all right.
Just keep going.
Okay,
Nothing edited. Don't worry.
It's going to be 6 p.m. local time in Japan, and that means that's going to be 4 a.m. on the East Coast here. So it won't be live.
So we're talking 1 o'clock in the morning for us on the Pacific Coast.
Basically, yeah, that's when they're showing it. But we're used to it anyway.
But here's my thing with that. Is that going to be a live pay-per-view? Like, people are going to have to order it at 1 o'clock in the morning? Because if that's the case, let me tell you something. TNA is not good enough for people on the West Coast to stay up at night, and they're not good enough for people on the East Coast to get up early in the morning.
You just gotta face facts. So TNA, the end is near. All this shit started looking like when the end is coming.
Yeah.
You know, when you look in a movie and you see that damn a deer or an animal in its last days, walking slow, ready to get put down. That's where TNA's at right now. They ready to be taken out back like Lassie, but two in the back of the fucking.
But no, it's actually going to be shown at 8 o'clock Eastern time, our time. You know, but
it's going to be a delay.
It's basically a tape. It's a big tape delay. You know, because it's going to be taped at basically 4 a.m. Eastern time, our time that day. But we're not going to be able to see it until 8 p.m. Eastern time.
See, that's a big problem.
This is another bad fucking move. As many fucking moves as TNA has had. I'm sorry. Why are you having a pay-per-view over in Japan?
No, look. No. I actually like that.
You can have a show. You can have a show over there.
I like
but
that.
not a goddamn pay-per-view.
I like the idea that they're going to film in Japan. I also like the fact they're using the historic Tokyo Dome.
That's because you like Japanese wrestling.
So many great matches. Stan Hansen used to tear the house off of that joint.
Okay, keep it.
Okay, Kenta Kobashi, Mitsuharu Mashita, rest in peace. One of my favorites, Jun Akiyama. There were legends that built that building. So you know what? For TNA to go over there and for Japan to accept their invitation and allow them to come over, it is a great honor and it's a great blessing. That's the good. Now here's the bad. Why are you doing a delay taping in an age where we're going to know the results before the pay-per-view even hits in America?
It's the pay-per-view.
Okay, you're going to lose money by simply doing that just because if we see the results that we don't want to see, no one's going to order the pay-per-view. And then this goes back to what you're saying. TNA, that is just bad for business all the way around. Now, as much as I love the Japan concept, and I love the Tokyo Dome, and I hope that they use the historic ramp that's almost a quarter-mile long to get to the ring, that's all beautiful and everything, but from a business standpoint, you can't do stuff like that when you know that we're gonna have the results as soon as that shit airs. Okay, that shit's gonna air in Japan. It's gonna be 1 o'clock in the morning our time. So when I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and I check the internet, I'm gonna know the whole results of the show. And that's gonna tell me right then and there, do I wanna spend my money at 5 o'clock later that day to order the pay-per-view? Absolutely not.
I'm probably figuring, first off, they ain't gonna charge for it. There's gonna be some TV shit.
No, it's actually pay-per-view.
They might as well make
They're showing it pay-per-view. They're charging you. No, it's pay-per-view.
Because most of their pay-per-views been on regular TV.
But Bound for Glory is one of their pay-per-views that they actually charge for.
But see, you got to think about that.
That's their major thing.
You got to think about it. Just like what you were saying, like how they film the TV shows. I mean, they spent like 9 months in the Manhattan Center.
Man.
You know, week after week. I understand they got money problems. I understand Daddy Carter, or aka Daddy Warbucks over there, ain't trying to flip the bill no more. They cut they people losing their jobs in the office, and you got to cut corners. But I mean, the problem is you have all these shows. I mean, you still showing Bubba Ray, and he don't even work for you no more. I mean, it's just these things why you can't do that, because at one time, if you remember back in the days, the WWE used to do this stuff.
Syndicated
And I mean, and then you know what changed their mind, all bullshit aside, that Rick Rude being on Nitro and being on Raw the same night. That's when shit started changing.
Yeah.
Because you can't have somebody, if something happens like that, they on both shows. That makes your show look bad.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'm at the point, TNA, if you're gonna close the fuck down. Do it.
Well on board.
I mean, because this shit is like you torturing the fans, the fans that you do have, you torturing me if somebody has to cover you. Because I'm like, when you sitting there, you putting on lackluster, and the thing about it is every once in a while, you put on some good matches. And y'all got, I say well, every once in a while. And I say, y'all got the horses over there to do it, but you don't do it. You get these dumbass storylines and stuff. This is a plea. I remember I gave TNA a plea over 3 fucking years ago. Do you remember that? I'm like, man, fix this shit. I'm like, y'all got something good. Now I can't even give that plea because the fucking end is here.
They let AJ Styles go. He knew that was coming.
The end is here. So, TNA, either shit or get off the pot. Figure out a way to fucking do it, or sell the fucking company to somebody that can do something. Dixie, I'm sorry. Listen, you ain't got what it takes. You ain't got what it takes to run a fucking wrestling company. We ain't seen it. Jeff Jarrett and them sold that shit to you, what, like 6-7 years ago?
And it went up downhill ever since.
Yeah, ever since you took over, it then went to the shit house. Bad business decisions. I mean, Vince Russo, you know, he made some good decisions. He made a lot of bad decisions, you know?
But there is some good news.
What's the good news?
Bobby Lashley did win his MMA fight at Bellator.
King Mo did too.
Well, I don't give a fuck about King Mo. But see, the thing with that is, Bobby Lashley can still be a legitimate champion for TNA because he didn't lose his MMA fight.
His ass kicked.
Right. So there is a positive there, but the #1 contenders match, Amor, on TNA Impact, could you give us a little bit more insight into that?
Okay, I can give you a little insight, but you want to know some bullshit? That I sat there and I watched that TNA Impact, you know, because I'm doing my job and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to cover the TNA brand. But that #1 contenders match, a #1 contenders match that you built up for basically, okay, you can say 2 weeks, but you really can say 3 weeks after the Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff Hulk Hogan ending that you did in the steel cage because you keep recycling shit, you know, where their both feet touched at the same time. Then you had Kurt Angle make a major announcement the next week, like next week on Impact, we're going to have a #1 contenders match between Showtime Eric Young and Robert Roode.
How the fuck they call it Showtime?
I don't
know
get
there's
it.
no show.
The point is I'm trying to make that you built this up to be the #1 contenders match. It's going to be for the world title. It's a #1 contenders match for the world title. This ain't the #1 contenders match for the X division. This ain't the #1 contenders match for the knockouts. This is your #1 contenders match for the world title. And the match went 6 minutes. 6 minutes.
You could have boiled an egg, and when that egg got done, that match was over.
6 minutes.
Showtime, when Eric Young gets in the ring, it's time to turn the show.
6
Right
minutes.
Oh, man.
But you know what?
This is sad. See, this is another example. I cannot fathom why Eric fucking Young is in any type of picture. I don't give a fuck he got a beard or not. He's a fucking... I don't know if you even say he's a fucking mid-card. He should be what they call an enhancement wrestler, or AKA a fucking jobber.
This is the same dude that was one half of the Knockouts Tag Team Champions. I said it last week.
He should not be in this fucking... I understand you got this loyalty shit. You gave him the title, just like you gave fucking Hell Sabin.
Okay, hold on.
Bitch ass.
Hold on. We already touched on that. I don't even want to get upset and go back into that. Let's move from their pay-per-view to the WWE's pay-per-view, the Night of Champions. Now, the card is not fully set in stone, but what matches do we have?
Well, we have. Well, I'm gonna start at the title matches first because it is the Night of Champions. So we're gonna start at the top. But no, I'm not. I'm gonna leave the world title. I'm gonna leave that one. I'm gonna leave that one to the end. You know,
okay,
that's
I can see that.
Okay, then we're gonna start off with the Intercontinental Championship match. We have the champion Dolph Ziggler defending against the challenger, The Miz. And this ain't the stunt double, Damian Sandow, which is a damn good wrestler, and Miz couldn't even hold his jock, like I said last week. This is The Miz. Now,
That's a former world champion.
I believe that, yeah, but come on.
I will give them this much credit. Their match on Raw this past Monday was actually really good, and it had a really good finish.
Now, I mean,
I just hate that Damian Sandow has to come in and take the shit.
yeah. Now, I'll take my prediction on that. Dolph Ziggler is going to hold the title. He's going to move on as the champion. What about you, Randy?
I'm thinking the Miz is going to grab it back. Because I think they're going to try this back and forth shit. It's looking like it's going to be this back and forth.
I hope they don't. My whole thing is, I don't care who wins. I just hope they don't work the rest of the year together.
Yeah.
Because they tend to do that. They'll put two superstars together and say, hey, guess what?
Just like
you
that
guys
year.
you guys are going to work the whole year.
Kofi and Ziggler.
Kofi and Ziggler for
They did
a
that to
whole
like
year.
I think they did like 2
More than a year.
Great matches.
Yeah.
They have great
But
matches, but
for
you don't
US
want to wear it
and
out.
kinda-
Yeah.
You know.
But see, and the Miz, just like, I mean, you shit on the Miz has vastly fucking improved. Vastly. And I mean, it started when he was the world champion.
No,
I mean, he went up, and whatever the fuck they asked him to do, he did.
No matter what people say about The Miz, the one thing he can say is that he headlined the WrestleMania, and he actually kept the championship during American
After a
WrestleMania.
long
And it was over John Cena.
Yeah.
Now, The Rock was involved,
Yeah,
and that was the
Rock
bigger
bottom.
story. But that is always going to be The Miz's claim right there to fame.
Shit.
And I had no problem with him holding the championship. He did
He
the
was,
right
he
thing.
was a damn good
He
champion.
made it about the championship and not about him. That's more than I can say about some people.
Yeah.
But in this instance, with the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, you need to leave that belt on Dolph Ziggler. And I am sick and tired of Ziggler being pushed over. You need to go old school with this one. The Intercontinental Champion should have a shot at the World Champion. I know it's not going to happen, and it's a long shot,
That
but
makes sense.
I have my own right to imagine. What else you got?
Okay, we got the United States Championship. And we're talking about Intercontinental. It's the same thing as the United States Championship.
Yeah.
And we have challenger Cesaro going against champion Sheamus. My opinion is we're going to have a new United States champion, and we should have a new United States champion in Cesaro. And I believe Cesaro will walk away at Night of Champions as the new United States champion.
How that's looking, that's probably going to be one of the roughest matches of the night.
It's gonna be a fight.
And I love that.
It's gonna be
I
a
love
fight.
that because you know what? Cesaro shows Sheamus every single week. I am not going to be one of those superstars that you're going to get all your offensive move off on. I'm going to sell you, make you look great, and then when it's my turn to give you the heat, you kind of back out of it. Cesaro lets him know on a night
He got
basis.
that bad. He got that bad. And you remember, I was the first one to point that shit out. I said, you look at fucking Sheamus. Anytime he fights, he want to fucking club the shit out of fucking people, do all his offensive moves. When it's their time to do it, he's running, trying to slide down. He gets out the way and shit. I'm like, stop bitching up. I'm like, I said, but that's coming from Preparation H. Whole fucking shit.
But you know what? But you know what though? It also depends on the worker in the ring. And a guy like Cesaro
Can call a match.
who also knows that he's in front of that camera as well, and he's already having to take the heat from the company and everything like that of not being pushed, he ain't gonna take it from Sheamus.
But see, you gotta remember this too. It's like the same thing with Sandow. When Sandow first went against Sheamus,
He beat the shit out of Sheamus.
And
I love that
and that
match.
might have been one of the reasons why Sandow
Got-
got sent down to the shit
Because
house.
that's Triple H's boy.
Yep.
And we gotta remember that.
Yeah, but
they
you know
worked
what?
out together.
I have to disagree with that. That couldn't have been the reason, because if that was the reason, Damian Sandow would have never touched the Money in the Bank.
But
Because remember,
but
he
you gotta
whooped
remember,
Sheamus' ass.
This was their plan all along.
But they
their
also
plan
made
was
him-
for that person never to open up that briefcase
Yeah.
and get that fucking
Yeah,
title.
because they all he touched Money in the Bank, Money in the Bank, but they also made him the first guy to get his ass kicked and not be able to cash it in. Well, cash it in and
Second
not
guy.
Well,
Cena was the
Cena
first.
was the
Cena
first.
cashed in against Punk, and he didn't.
Well,
he wasn't
Cena
successful.
didn't need it. You know what I mean? I don't know why they even did that.
But getting back to that point though, you're right. It's gonna be a rough match, and I hope Cesaro gives it to him just 10 times over. I don't even care if Cesaro wins the match or not. I just want
As long as he
Cesaro.
beat his ass.
Yeah, I want Cesaro to let Sheamus know. You can push off and be rough with everybody else. And I'm not talking from a performance standpoint. I'm talking about from a pure independent standpoint here. Sheamus has a way of bearing superstars in the ring.
Yeah.
And when you go against a standalone guy like Cesaro, who is just going to draw the line and say, listen, even if you're supposed to win this match, you're not whooping my ass without me giving it back to you, whether you like it or not. And when you get in the ring with someone like Cesaro, who has his own strength, his own combinations, his own moves, You don't have to jump for that suplex, Sheamus, because guess what? You're all gonna muscle your ass over anyway.
Yeah.
So you better straighten up, and you better think about this before you go into this match with this man, because this man is ready, and it goes for anybody else that he gets in the ring with.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, tag team titles. We're gonna have the Usos defend the tag team titles against the Cosmic Rose Brothers, which, in my opinion, in my opinion, which they are the heels now.
They are the heels now, yes.
And they're doing a good job at it.
They have done a good job at it.
My thing is, I believe you're going to be new tag team champions. I believe the Usos will drop the titles to the Rose Brothers at Night of Champions. It's about time. The Usos, about time for them to drop it. I believe one of them needs some attention to that knee, because I believe that knee is not as hurt as what they're trying to script in. But I think he needs some work on it.
See, this is my problem. Rowan and Harper should be in that match. It should be a fucking three-way dance.
I agree.
Them boys, they've been busting ass over the last year.
I agree, and we touched on that last week.
And they should be the ones that get the belts. Star and Cody already had the belts already. When Cody was fucking Cody, before he went to straight Cosmic. That's what that match should be. But of course, the WWE, what's really best for business, they really don't fucking do. But talking about that match, I think that match is going to be really, really fucking good, because them four boys, the two sets of brothers, they work real good with each other.
They do work good together, and I don't have a clear-cut winner for that one either, and I don't care. I just want them to have a good match. But if you really want to make a statement, if they have a good match, you can save this by having the Wyatts come out and finish all four of them. Leave them all laying in the ring. And then you will get your triple threat at the next pay-per-view.
Because I don't believe the Wyatts might not be on the card. I mean, until this point, it doesn't look like it. You know what I mean?
That's a shame. If they're not booked for Night of Champions, that's a shame.
It might be on the pre-show.
That's a shame.
Handicap match against the Big Show. Okay,
that's a shame.
Moving on to another title, our last title match before the world title match. We're gonna go with the Divas title, and it seemed like after last night's taping, after last night's viewing of SmackDown, it's gonna be a triple threat match between Champion Paige taking on AJ, taking on Nikki Bella. Now, my thing about this match, I don't know who's gonna win. I mean, I believe Paige will probably hold on, but my problem is Nikki Bella. This is from me to you. You better get your ass in there and work, because you got Paige that can get it done. She can work. AJ can work. Now, are you just beauty and big ha-has, or are you a wrestler? I believe your sister's a better wrestler than you. That's just my opinion. You know, and I could say scrap both of the Bellas and put Naomi in the match, and now we got a show. But that's not the way things is going. But you got to get in there and work.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. Because right now, with the Divas picture, this is so obvious where they're going. Nikki Bella's going to win the championship, so they can further their storyline with Nikki and Brie. It's going to be Brie helping Nikki win the title and then hitting her upside the head right afterwards. Because that storyline, unfortunately, is bigger than Paige and AJ right now. Because Stephanie McMahon has inserted herself into this, which now makes that the prime Diva storyline for the next upcoming months. To legitimize that, you got to put the strap on one of those two. So if you're going to put them in
champion,
but if you're gonna, it's not about that right now. It's about that storyline.
You got to look at it like this. They trying to get some Britain Owen magic, sibling versus sibling.
They're never going to get that.
Yeah, of course not. But then you got the twin.
That opening match of WrestleMania 10 tore the house down.
You got the twin twin thing. They've been sisters and all that shit. I mean, if you look at the wrestling part, they gonna have the wrestling part covered in that match with AJ and Paige. They gonna save that part. Nikki gonna do whatever she.
But you know, Nikki Bella ain't that bad.
No, she's not.
I mean, they didn't get to where they were because of how they look. She just got those tits like 2 months ago, or a year and a half.
She's all right.
Either way, though, they got there from wrestling.
She's all right, but I'm tired of the good looks being the criteria to be the Divas champion.
But they all look good.
Yeah, I understand that, but
see,
Paige, AJ, Natalia, Naomi, they can.
You gotta have a sex appeal, fella.
You know, they can wrestle.
People don't like looking at ugly females.
Nobody wants to look at OBB.
They all have it in their own way. You know what I mean? But is their storyline?
Because you got to remember the Total Divas, which starts tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh, and then Total Divas
coming back.
Yeah.
And they did highlight Nikki turning on Brie at SummerSlam is one of them to be in the episodes of Total Divas. So okay, I really see where I don't want it to happen, but I can see where he's coming
It's
from.
going to happen.
I can see where he's coming from. Okay, the next I'm gonna move on to one of the matches that I'm a like of the night because I'm a big fan of this dude. Mark Henry versus Cesaro. I mean Mark Henry versus Rusev.
It ain't been
Now,
signed yet.
no, it's signed.
It's signed?
It's signed. It was signed on SmackDown last night that Rusev took the challenge to face Mark Henry at Night of Champions. This better not be on the damn pre-show. It may, or you're gonna have a riot from me. But my thing is this: you put Rusev over Jack Swagger, a real American,
They're not gonna put
and you made Rusev look which is supposed to be like somebody from Russia, being a Russian diplomat or whatnot. And with the things that's going on right now between the United States and Russia, you better not have this man beat the shit out of Mark Henry.
It's just what it is it's just a consensus of, them down in America, and then eventually America's gonna overcome.
And you better have Mark Henry be the one to overcome it.
Don't look forward to that. And I'll tell you why. Rusev, he's gonna win this match, but he's gonna win because the Big Show gonna knock Mark Henry out. You watch what I tell you. They're gonna build a storyline with Mark Henry and the Big Show
Again.
because Big Show's gonna say, "You left me to do your own selfish stuff." He gonna knock Mark Henry out for Rusev because Rusev, one-on-one, Rusev should not be Mark Henry. It is not going to be packaged to where you're going to have Mark Henry get beat by Rusev. That's just not going to look right the way Mark Henry handled Randy Orton last year, and was a champion. So for Rusev to stay undefeated, because I think they still want this guy to be undefeated, the Big Show, they already went into it a little bit on Raw. They're going to sell it to where the Big Show really didn't like the fact that Mark Henry's going to leave the tag team picture with him to go do this personal thing, and he's hyping him up. You do that, and then you watch. Typical storyline.
Yeah.
Big Show's going to be out there cheering him on. He's going to knock his ass out.
Big Show.
Back in the Hall of Pain, he's going to go. He's going to get knocked out, and he's going to catch a savate kick. So it's going to be a long night for Mark Henry, but I think that's how Rusev will go over, and I think that's the way they're going to package it, because for some reason, they still want Rusev to be undefeated. Now, if that's not going to be leading him to a title or anything like that,
It's stupid.
then what's the point,
No, I think they are going to lead because if Cesaro does not win, if they have Sheamus as the United States champion after Night of Champions,
it'd probably be
that's going to
Rusev.
blame Rusev going after the United
I
States.
can see that. I can straight see that happening too.
Yeah, because it's the United States title.
Yeah, and they need to get their hands.
Russian title.
Yeah, they need to get their hands on that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this world title. Let's talk about for all the goddamn marks.
It shouldn't be nothing to talk about after that beating that man took at SummerSlam. And I believe this is going to happen, and I hope it doesn't. I believe with their whole packaging, John Cena's going to go out there. We touched on it last week about him going out there to kick Brock Lesnar's ass. They're going to try to make it a match.
I like the fact that WWE. I like the fact that they try to throw us a curveball a little bit and say, oh, we might have to add a couple pieces to that. But let's be honest, we were talking about this on the show before they came up with it. They should add some more pieces to that because who's gonna pay $9.99? Okay, you pay $9.99 for the old stuff, but to tune in for that, it can't just be those two one-on-one again because, as you said, as we all know, it looked too cool the first time around. So you do need to add another person to get their ass whooped by Brock because that's pretty much what it's gonna be. Yeah. Wherever they add, it's just gonna be another person getting their ass whooped by Brock.
I think Brock Lesnar's gonna win.
Of course he's gonna win.
And just because of this reason, and I've seen that they reworked his contract, where he got more dates, especially they already did that flexibility. If you become champion, we can pull you out these more dates. Now with me knowing that, that's a game changer.
Yeah, because now he's just gonna work the pay-per-view.
Yes, because he's gonna do that. Cena ass is going down. Cena's gonna probably get brutalized.
But I could also see him adding, because they did bring this up the other night on, what was it, Raw? Everybody wanted to say they can be the #1 contender and Cena's not ready. You know, I can see them adding, because what are they going to do with Roman Reigns? What are they going to do with Seth Rollins? Because don't give me that bullshit where they're going to put Kane in a match at Night of Champions with Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose or somebody else. Please don't do that.
But see,
please.
But see, you got to think about this shit. This is what I think is going to happen.
Hold on, before you get on that, I just want to say something real quick. I actually, believe it or not, guys, I like the fact that the way Brock Lesnar's holding the championship and he's only coming to the pay-per-views. You know what? I used to hate that. I used to hate it a lot. But you know what? If you really think about it, doesn't that make him more of a dominant champion?
No.
You guys think, look, because it's just like the way Hogan used to do it. You guys fight all month.
You really lost me now.
No, but look. You guys, I'm talking about the concept, not the wrestler.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the whole concept.
You guys fight all month to figure out who's gonna come face Daddy, and then Daddy beats the shit out of you at the pay-per-view.
I get what you're saying.
It puts prestige back into the championship.
But I still want to see his ass there. Not even if he's not punching.
No, I want to see him there.
He's still got to be there. Now you can miss a week here and there. I'm not tripping.
I want to see him there.
I don't want to see no fucking Rock schedule where you fucking come once a month and you a fucking champion.
But you know what? That actually brings credibility.
Because he lost to
no, but look, that actually brings credibility back to the championship.
I didn't like
because that champion, honestly, the champion shouldn't get his hands dirty on Raw. He shouldn't. If he goes out there, it's to talk shit.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't get his hands dirty. And then when you go to the pay-per-view, he beats the fuck out of whoever the challenger is. That is old school wrestling right there. If you really think about it, that's old school. I had to think about it. I thought about this shit this week because I'm like, you know what? Honestly, if Brock wanted to take the next 2 months off and then show up at fucking Survivor Series, but he kicks ass at Survivor Series, that gives these guys on the fucking roster that are working a chance to step it up and be showcased without Brock overshadowing them.
Well, here, let me make my point.
No, look, then when a guy actually comes up there and dethrones Brock, it's gonna mean so much more.
No,